If you're watching this video, in all probabilities, you're a plant parent. And I'm going to show you these 4 hacks, which if you follow, your plants will never die. Exactly. Your plants will never die. Yes, I'm saying it right. This is what we at Nurturing Green do when we do our commercial growing. And we watch for these 4 important aspects, and they come very handy into home gardening. And if you're able to follow these well, in all probabilities, your plant will do good, will get better, and eventually will be more healthy. So the first hack to follow is on watering. So you have to manage both the science and the art of watering. In my first episode, I did talk about the TDS of the water. So make sure that the TDS inside your water is 0, so that whenever you give a plant food, they don't react with anything and get the best nutrition to the plants. Second, about watering is the how often and how much. So how often I did talk about in my 4th episode of Nuskhe on the spoon test as well as the eye test to check that when you should water it, and how much I did talk about that depending on what geography you are in or what region or what month you are in, you make sure that you water it accordingly. So for example, if you have a 4 to 5 inch pot and you are into the mid of summer in Delhi where the temperatures are very high, you water the plant such that the water dripples down from below into the tray, and you again water it whenever the soil gets light brown or the spoon test indicates the watering again. But it's always important that you just don't water it from the top. The root should get the watering. Always remember that plants like the dryness season also, so they don't always like it wet. So when you water it, the water humidity or the water levels inside the soil is high, they go down, and if you again water it very quickly, they again go up. So make sure that it dries down a bit, and that's why you should water it twice to thrice into the containers or the indoor plants. Into the outdoor, again depending on which weather you are in. If you are in Delhi in summers, you should water it every day, versus if you are in Bombay where the humidities are very high, you can even water it twice or thrice a week. You should follow again the soil test, the spoon test, or the eye test. The second important hack you should follow is on the soil. In my 2nd episode, I did talk about the pH levels, and if you want to watch the complete video, it's there on the link above. When I say the pH, it's the indicator of the soil acidic or the alkaline nature, right? So the soil or the medium either can be acidic, which means it's the pH level is 0, or it can be too alkaline, which means the pH level can be 14. Ideally, the soil's pH should be 6.5 to 7. Mostly, I don't recommend the normal soil which is there in local geographies, because the pH varies and it can react in different ways. And that's why most often I recommend to use the coco peat or a soilless media, where mostly if you buy it from a good garden center, the pH is already maintained at 6.5 to 7, which means that whenever you are putting the plant food, or whenever you're putting the water in it, the media makes it neutral and makes it the environment such that the plant food can be absorbed. So a lot of time it's been seen that if the pH is, let's say, at 3, even if you put the plant food, it doesn't go into the root. So because the power to absorb these nutrients is decided by the pH. So that's why always make sure that the pH in your soil is, or in your media is, at 6.5 to 7, and if it's at that level, then it's always good to keep checking about it. The third nuskha or the third hack which I talked about is on the placement. a very important aspect, especially in indoor gardening or whenever you are having your indoor plants. The placement defines two aspects to your two important aspects into the environment. One is the light levels and other is the temperature. You should, when you are doing your indoor plants, you should keep your plants somewhere at anything around 1000 lux to 1500. Even if it goes to above 1500, it's good, but make sure that the temperature doesn't goes up. Most of the time when you increase the lux, the heat also goes up. That means the temperature goes up. A good indoor lux level is to be at 1000 to 1500. In case you're not able to match it, or in case you don't know how to map the lux, do watch the third episode on the placement. But yes, the placement defines the lux, which should always, for the indoor plants, should be around 1000 to 1500, and the temperature should be at room temperature. Any fluctuations in either temperature or light gets the plant into a shock. Is the reason why whenever you buy these local plants from an outdoor nursery, which is selling you an outdoor plant because they're grown in an outdoor environment, when you bring them indoors into a lower lux, they die. Or when they're grown in a higher temperature, then when you bring them into a room which is comparatively very cooler, it goes for a thermal shock and the plant dies. So with the placement, my idea to tell you is that always make sure that your plant doesn't goes for a thermal shock or a light shock. Always make it optimum around 1000 to 1500 for the indoor plants, and for the watering, for the temperature, make sure it's always at room temperature. Any variance towards 0 degree or 50 degree has the chances of plants sort of dying or the leaf burns coming in. The fourth and the last most important hack which I talk about is the plant food. Right? So if you have made sure that the water is good, you're doing the watering right, your soil has the perfect balance of pH 7, your placements of your plants are always good, still your plants are not doing good, is the indicator that your plant is missing the food, which means that the media doesn't have any minerals left to supply to the roots, and that's why the plant is not making any new new photosynthesis is happening, or the new food has been made. So always make sure that you give the good plant food every 3 to 6 months, again depending on from where you're buying it. I usually refer to have either Nurturing Greens all-in-one plant food, or brands like Basacode, which are some of the world's best slow releasers. Make sure that when you give them, they're very easy to give, unlike the older methods, but the slow releasers are the best because they keep giving the food very often and every time to the plant instead of giving it just once, right? So if you put the other plant food on top, you water it, it sort of depletes down and sort of move out through the water. But whenever you are giving a slow releaser, it slowly and gradually absorbs, and every time a new layer sort of is dissolved into the water, the food goes into the media and it gets to the plant eventually. So that's my fourth hack. In case you are able to follow all of these 4 hacks, I assure you that your plants will do really good. Do tell me about your plants and how they're doing into the comments below. In case your plants are still not doing good despite you follow all these 4 hacks, do message me or ping me on my social media, My Plant My Baby page on Instagram, or my YouTube channel with the name of My Plant My Baby. Even on Facebook, we're there with the group of My Plant My Baby, and tell me that, send me the pictures and I'll tell you why in all probabilities they're not doing good, or is there anything else specific which is there. But most of the time, if you follow these 4 simple hacks, your plants will never die and they will keep growing healthier and bushier. Thank you for watching My Plant My Baby's Annu and Nuskhe. Do subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Instagram with the name of Nurturing Green. We look forward to having you and getting your feedback on how is these Nuskhes and do they help you to grow these babies healthier and bushier. Thank you. Do subscribe to our channel, My Plant My Baby on YouTube.